Okay, here we are back at the truck. What we got to do is hook our wires back up and slip this alternator back down in the hole here. What you're going to want to do is, remember that little pin that held your brushes in, you want to make sure you pull that out. And you want to stick this thing down in here. Again. You got to hook up. There's a little plug here, there's a big plug here, and there's that hot wire. I'll get this down in here. Then you want to start hooking this back up. I don't know if you're going to be able to see this, but we're going to slide this back in there. Reconnect all these connectors. And put them back on there like they were. Everything plugs in except for this little hot wire here. And it takes that 10mm nut. Take the 10mm wrench, ratchet it, or put it on there a little tighter, nice and snug. One of the things I like to do is, down there that gets all dirty and cruddy, I like to, where my bolts are going to go, I usually hit that with a little WD, and I've already done that. Okay, my alternator connections are hooked up now. Now what I have to do is work it back into the hole where it came out of and put the bolts back in, which in itself is a pretty easy thing to do. Generally. Okay, there's one bolt going back home. I like to get them started finger tight so I can make sure I'm not cross-threading anything. Run it in there. She's looking pretty good. I think she's going in pretty nice. You can wiggle the alternator and get it in there a little bit. Okay, that one's most of the way in. Now we take the shorter one right here, and this one goes in the top. Again, there's two bolts on this, just like when we took it out. Tools you're going to need for this is a 9/16, either ratchet or a wrench, a 1/2 inch, and a 10mm for the nut on the back that goes to the hot wire. And small screwdriver is pretty handy for getting the connectors on and off. And of course you need a 3/8, either a breaker bar or a ratchet for your chain tensioner. Put everything in nice and tight. And then you come down here. Got the bottom one yet to do. I like to use these little ratcheting wrenches. They seem to fit in a lot of different places. Picked up a cheap set of Huskies, and I blew out the 5/8 one pretty easy, so I don't use them on anything real tough. with the rest of them. I'll use the heck out of them, to be honest with you. They fit in a lot of places, and they work fairly well. I'm just going to tighten this one up. Okay, now all we do is we reach back down here, we run our belts back about where we had it, take the load off this tensioner, and you push everything on there. And you take your light and you look down there, you make sure everything's pretty much where it's supposed to be, or exactly where it's supposed to be. You check everything out, make sure nothing made a weird slip when you were working on it. Mine looks okay. I'm going to check it before I finalize everything. Alright, so that should be it for there. Now what we're going to do is we're going to hook our battery back up. You put the positive on first. Get it down there nice and tight. Make sure you don't arc out to anything while you're doing it to hit your ground. You want to put these on snug, but you don't want to bust your clamps apart. I've already cleaned them. That was one of the first steps I did when I was diagnosing this charging problem. Okay, now I put on my negative terminal. Push them on nice and tight. Tighter you are, less corrosion, and the better connection you're going to get. When I'm all done, I'll probably hit them with a little bit of white grease, that lithium, and see what we're doing. Okay, so for the whole job here, I used a 3/8 ratchet that fits in the piece for my belt tensioner here, and I just pull up on that, and it allows me to loosen up my serpentine belt. I have a 9/16, and that fits on the bottom bolt of your alternator, your 3G Ford alternator there. Then I have a 1/2 inch wrench that I use for the top bolt. The 10mm wrench goes on the back, and that goes to the hot wire back there. And I use this 1/2 inch wrench here, a ratchet, to put on my battery connections. Alright, now I went from a non-charging alternator. I spent $9, and I think I'm going to be okay. But to be honest with you, this alternator needs a total rebuild. I'm just trying to get it on the road for Monday. But Wednesday, I think my total rebuild kit's coming, and I'll probably put on another video for that. Alright, have a good day, and thanks for watching. I hope it helps you out. It should save you a couple bucks anyway. Take it easy. Okay, here we are again. I got the truck together. I look inside and check my serpentine belt. Everything's going copacetic on there. What I want to do is I want to check my voltage. I looked on the inside. My gauge on the inside was saying that it was charging. So we're just going to check, see how many volts we got right here at the battery. And I'm putting out 14.5 volts. which is just about perfect. It actually says 14.63. I don't want to be charging anything around 15, and I don't want to be doing anything less than 12 and a half. So apparently that voltage regulator has done the trick. Alright, with a few simple tools, I was able to diagnose. When I came out here to begin with, my battery was sitting right around 12, but when I started it, turned all the lights on, it was sitting at something around 11.25 volts. And with the truck running, you really want to be pushing 13.5, 14.5, something like that. Alright, thank you. Have a good day. Hope this saved you some bucks. Okay, here we are inside the truck, and as you see, my battery light has gone out. You don't see it shining over there, and you can see my voltage gauge is showing a positive charge just on the right hand side of the M. I figured the first side of the M to be about 12 volts, and the outside to be about 13, 13.5, something like that, 14. But it's on the good side. If you're on the left side of M, something's wrong. Again, here, we'll try it with, we'll put on the headlights. Alright, see that? There's hardly anything. I'll turn on my AC. And it dropped a little bit, but I'm drawing a lot of amps right there. Alright, there you go. Problem diagnosed and fixed. As you can see by the dashboard there, I got 129 some thousand miles on it, and the truck runs pretty good for that, for an old Ford. The other guy on the video shows you how to start to rebuild these, but he doesn't show you the end until you buy his kit. And I bought the kit, but what I'm going to do is once I get it and I do this and I rebuild mine, there'll be another video showing you the whole procedure. Alright, well, have a good day. And thanks.